Hi guys, it's Nick, and this is the first part of a video series where I essentially review my A-levels. These are all the A-level subjects I did at A-level. I'm going to rank them based on 1, how interesting the content was, 2, how difficult the content was, 3, the exam, and 4, the usefulness of the subject. So starting with how interesting the content was for AQA physics. Undoubtedly insane both breadth and depth of the course, and unlike GCSE, you start by studying content simultaneously. So when we started year 12, we were straight in there studying both materials and quantum physics at the same time. For the optional module, we did special relativity, and it was mind-blowing. I was having an existential crisis in nearly every single lesson. The one downside, if you don't like practical work, there's a lot more practical work than there is in GCSE. I hated practicals, frankly speaking. I hated the write-ups. But on the bright side, you do about 12 over 2 years, so it's not terrible. On how interesting it is, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Now, how difficult was the content? Immensely difficult. Conceptually quite difficult, and especially when it got to the later parts of the course, I'd say in about year 13, everything was very overwhelming, and it was at the point where the content itself is hard, and then the way you have to apply the content is even worse. So for difficulty, I'm going to give it a solid 10 out of 10. However, moving on to exams now, to offset the difficulty a little bit, the grade boundaries are quite low. There's a good reason for that, which is that the exams for AQA are absolutely crazy. Paper 2, especially last year, one of my friends said it was more like the Olympiad than an A-level paper. The examiners tend to be quite creative and think out of the box on questions, which is very fun, but not really when your future depends on it. That being said, it is a bonding experience when you walk out of the exam hall nearly in tears like everyone around you. And because the grade boundaries are not terrible, I will give the exam an 8 out of 10. For usefulness, I think it's very useful. It's well respected as an A-level, it's quite academically rigorous and famously difficult. It lends itself to a wide variety of fields. Although the content itself doesn't have any bearing on my subject, the rigor and the attention to detail I picked up, specifically the attention to detail from working through this multiple questions was more effective than anything else, including my preparation for law and anything else. My classmates are doing everything from engineering, pure physics, all the way to myself doing law. There's quite a few doing economics. But one thing I will say is that you do need to take it with maths for a lot of the fields I just mentioned. So it's unclear how useful it is as a standalone subject in its own right. That being said, it really throws you into the deep end and it really challenges you. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. This brings the overall score for physics to 26 out of 30 and the difficulty rating 10 out of 10. I hope that was useful. Please comment down any questions you have and have a lovely Christmas holiday. Merry Christmas.